Have you ever picked someone up who seemed like they didn't quite belong anywhere? I mean, not in this time, not in this city, not even in this world. I've been driving for Uber for 5 years now, and nothing. Not drunks, not creeps, not even a guy who once tried to steal my car prepared me for the man I picked up on the night of December 2nd. A man who never gave a destination. A man who wasn't on the app. It was a Thursday night. I remember because my Thursdays are always dead. I drive the graveyard shift, midnight to 6 a.m., so I get the bar crowd, the night shift workers, and sometimes the weird ones. That night it was unusually foggy. The kind of fog that clings to the road and swallows your headlights whole. I was parked outside a closed diner, sipping coffee and half watching an old slasher movie on my phone when the ride request came in. It was odd from the beginning. The pickup location was in the middle of nowhere, literally an unmarked service road near the edge of the forest just outside of town. I thought maybe someone got stranded or their car broke down, so I accepted it. It took me almost 20 minutes to reach the location. As I rolled up, I could barely see through the fog. No streetlights, just the soft crunch of gravel under my tires and the beam of my headlights illuminating the trees. That's when I saw him. He stepped out of the trees like he'd been waiting, not walking along the road, not waving me down, just standing there, staring directly at me. He was tall, wearing an old-fashioned suit, black, like something from the 1920s. His face was pale and sharp, and his eyes were dark, not just colorless, dark like pits of ink. I felt something cold crawl over my skin the moment our eyes met. My instinct screamed to drive away, but I didn't. I unlocked the doors. He slid in the back seat without a word. No greeting, no name. I turned to him and said, "Where to?" He didn't answer. I looked at my phone. No destination was entered. I asked again, "Hey, where are you headed?" He finally spoke. "Drive. I'll tell you when to stop." Now, I've had vague riders before, but something about this man felt wrong. My chest was tight. My fingers felt numb on the steering wheel. Still, I put the car in drive and pulled away. We rode in silence for about 10 minutes through winding back roads. He never looked out the window, never blinked, just stared at the back of my head like he was burning holes into my skull. I turned the radio on, just to cut the silence. That's when I noticed something strange. The rearview mirror wasn't reflecting him. I blinked. I thought maybe it was the angle or the fog, but no, my seats were empty. The back seat was empty, but I could feel his presence. I could hear his shallow breathing. I jerked the wheel a little. I looked over my shoulder. He was still there, but the mirror said otherwise. I tried to calm myself down, told myself maybe it was a trick of the light or my tired eyes playing games. But the hairs on my arms were standing straight up, and I couldn't shake the thought. This man didn't come from the app. He didn't belong in my car. He didn't belong in this world. "Turn left," he said. I didn't even know there was a road there. It was barely visible, a narrow dirt path into the forest. I hesitated. He leaned forward slowly. I said, "Turn left." I did. The road got darker the deeper we drove in. Trees leaned overhead like they were watching. The air felt heavy, like something ancient was watching me from between the trunks. And then, out of nowhere, he spoke again. "Do you believe in death?" "What?" I asked. "In death," he repeated. "When the body dies, but the mind lingers. When a soul forgets where it belongs and wanders endlessly." I laughed nervously, trying to lighten the mood. "You mean like a ghost?" "No," he said. "I mean like me." My windows were up, but I felt wind, icy wind, rush across my neck. I nearly swerved. I glanced in the mirror again. Still no reflection. "I think," he whispered, "you're driving in circles. Have you noticed?" I looked around. The trees were identical. I could have sworn we'd passed the same twisted stump at least 3 times. "I want to go back," I said more forcefully. "I don't care where you wanted to go." He didn't move. "You can't go back now. You said you'd take me." I slammed the brakes. "I never said that." He smiled for the first time. A horrible, jagged smile. And then, he vanished. I mean, completely disappeared. One second he was sitting there, the next gone. I jumped out of the car. No sign of him. No footprints, no disturbed leaves. Just silence. Oppressive, deafening silence. I got back in the car and floored it. I don't even remember how I found my way out. I just remember that when I made it back to the highway, my clock was blinking. It read 4:44 a.m. And my Uber app, It had no record of any ride request that night. None. But in my back seat, there was a black fedora, still damp with fog. Now, before we dive into the second terrifying tale, if you're still with me, hit that like button, subscribe if you love the creepy unknown, and comment if you've ever had an experience with something or someone that shouldn't be here. Share this with your horror-loving friends. And don't forget to check your back seat. There's something they don't tell you when you sign up to drive for Uber. They tell you about insurance, safety, even what to do if a rider throws up in your car. But they don't tell you what to do when the person you dropped off doesn't leave. Not just your car, I mean your life. Back in late 2021, I was working night shifts, doing rideshare in a mid-sized city just outside Portland. I'd clock in around 9 p.m., drive until 4 or 5 a.m., and then head home. Easy enough, until the night of October 17th. That was the night everything changed. I was near the end of my shift. It was 3:22 a.m., and I just dropped off a couple at a motel when I got one last ping. The pickup was only a few blocks away, Crescent Street, a quiet residential area, mostly old houses, most of them dark by that hour. When I pulled up, there was a man already standing at the curb. No profile photo, no name. The app just said, "Rider approaching." He was thin, maybe early 30s, pale skin like candle wax, black hoodie, hood pulled tight. His hands stayed buried in the pocket of his sweatshirt the whole time. He got in the back seat without saying a word. "Hey, good morning," I said, trying to keep things light. He didn't respond. My screen said, "Destination, West Pine Cemetery." Odd. The cemetery's gate closed at dusk. No reason to go there at 3:30 a.m. I clear my throat. "Are you sure about this location?" He finally spoke. His voice was dry, almost cracked, like someone who hadn't spoken in days. "Yes." So I drove. We passed through the industrial area and hit the edge of town. No traffic. Streetlights flickered. The whole city fell asleep, like even the buildings were dreaming. The ride was silent. Not a single word. But I started to feel wrong. Like I wasn't alone in the car, even beyond the passenger. Like there was a third presence, watching from inside the darkness. Every time I looked in the rearview mirror, I expected to see him staring. But he wasn't. He was always hunched, looking at the floor. Except, every so often, I glanced quickly, and I could swear his head would suddenly jerk up, eyes wide like he'd just been caught. And then he'd look back down again. At one point, I thought I heard him muttering. I turned down the radio and listened. He was whispering, quiet, rhythmic like a chant. "Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Don't leave me." I gripped the steering wheel harder. The air inside the car had gone cold. And then, he spoke louder. "Have you ever been followed home?" "What?" I asked, nervous. "Sometimes, when you drop someone off," he said, "they don't stay where you leave them." I chuckled awkwardly. "You mean like clingy exes?" "No," he said. "I mean things that hitch a ride, that need a body to take them somewhere else." I didn't respond. We were nearly at the cemetery. When we pulled up to the rusted black gates, I turned to ask him what he wanted to do next. The screen still said the ride was active. He reached slowly into his hoodie. I tensed, thinking he was pulling a weapon. But instead, he handed me a single folded photograph. It was old, black and white, a woman and child, standing in front of a wooden house. Both had their eyes scratched out. "Drop this," he whispered, "on the third grave to the left inside the main gate. Face it north." "What is this?" I asked. He opened the door and walked straight through the cemetery gate, which was locked. I swear to God, I watched him disappear through solid metal. I sat there in stunned silence. My heart was pounding. I didn't even realize I was still holding the photo until I felt something wet on my fingers. It was blood. Just a smear on the back of the photo. Fresh. I dropped it instantly. My hand shook as I ended the ride. I didn't even care about the 5-star rating. I just wanted to get home. I drove back in a daze, trying to shake the feeling that something had gone horribly wrong. But when I pulled into my driveway, something else was off. My porch light, which always stayed on, was flickering. My dog, Rocco, was barking furiously behind the door. And my phone was dead. Completely. Like the battery had been sucked dry. I got out, walked slowly up to the door, and just as I reached for the handle, I heard footsteps behind me. I turned around fast. No one was there, but the back door of my car, it was open, wide. I know I closed it after he got out. I heard it shut, shaking, I ran inside and locked the door. My dog was still barking, staring at the back of the house like something was in there. I didn't sleep that night. I kept all the lights on and sat in the kitchen with a knife. Around 4:44 a.m., same time as the other story, I heard it. A whisper from the living room. "Don't leave me." I turned on every light. Nothing there. The next morning, I went to throw out the trash. And inside the bin, right on top, was the photo. The one he gave me. The one I dropped to the cemetery. Same smear of blood on the back. I never picked it up. Never brought it home. But it was there. And that night, I saw him again. In my bedroom mirror. Just for a second. Standing behind me. Head down. Hood up. Found the moment I turned. I deleted the Uber app that week. I haven't driven since. But sometimes, when I'm sitting in traffic, or at a red light, or home, alone, watching TV with the lights low, I'll catch a glimpse in the mirror. Back seat empty, but my spine cold, like something's still waiting for the ride to continue. If you're still here, turn on your lights, check your doors, and look in your rearview mirror right now, before it looks back at you. If you enjoyed this story and want more terrifying tales from the shadows of everyday life, don't forget to subscribe, give this video a like, and share it with your horror-loving friends. Drop a comment below if you've ever picked up or been a passenger that never really left. Thanks for riding with us. Just be careful who you pick up next time.